was DJ. Hold on. That was DJ Lena, who's been kind enough to be spinning for us all show long. So I went for my annual pilgrimage to Treasure Island in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I had grown up.
What, do you go there every birthday?
Every birthday for the last 10 years.
Wow.
I do one show, and the whole family comes. It's great. But I found a machine.
Oh. Which one is it?
It's called Game of Thrones.
Woo!
This thing, you're sitting in the, and it's like an immersive experience. You're sitting here playing, and dragons are flying, and money's coming. It's a penny machine. But honey, you played like $5 in pennies, and it was the most exciting. I love slots.
But did you hit?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I hit quite well.
Joy.
Yeah.
I know.
Winter is coming. I not only hit, I slapped. It was like, oh yeah, boom, money for Whoopi, boom, money for Whoopi. Here come the kids.
Pennies shooting out of the machine.
Bubble gum for everyone.
That's it. Now, less about me, more about the president-elect. Donald Trump gave his first post-election interview to 60 Minutes, where he seemed to kind of be walking back some of the big campaign issues, like the border wall is turning into a fence. He's warming up to parts of Obamacare, and he's seriously downsizing his deportation plan. So is this making folks feel a little bit better, hearing that maybe he's now gotten there and seen the real landscape of what Washington looks like, and maybe going, oh, okay, now I have to rethink this?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's a big difference between campaign mode and then actually governing. And I think, when politicians get out there on the campaign trail, unfortunately, they say what they need to say to get elected, and you cater to a certain constituency that you need to turn out for you. And I think with Donald Trump, he needed hard right conservatives to turn out for him, because a lot of them didn't think he was their guy. They had wanted Ted Cruz. They had wanted other people. So he said what he needed to say. But I've been saying for a long time on the show, if you look back at his clips over the years, he's not really a hard right guy. He's been, left of center on many issues. He's shifted a lot. So I think a lot remains to be seen. And as we all know, when they get in there, they actually have to get something done. And you have to be a realist and
but you never know what he really means, because last night he said about Obama, I found him to be terrific. I found him to be very smart. And when he was on the campaign trail, he said, the worst president maybe in the history of our country. And he called Hillary all sorts of names, unhinged, a nasty woman. Then he said the other day, she couldn't have been nicer. She's very strong and very smart. Who is this man?
He also said, he also said in the interview, though, they asked, was it uncomfortable? Because he did have the birther movement and everything. And he said, honestly, we looked at each other and did not address it. It wasn't uncomfortable. I said terrible things. He said, I said terrible things. And he said terrible things, and we didn't address it. That made me feel, some of the ways he reacted in this interview, because I was kind of on the edge of my seat, like, oh my gosh, I did feel better with some of his answers.
You know what? I would feel better if he would do an interview on Al Jazeera and Telemundo. And then let's see what he says to them.
Well, the main thing, calm and controlled and collected. I thought he took a breath in between thoughts, so I was happy about that. But, as someone that's on the harder right side, I was very happy with what he said, that there was compromise, that this was something, he was saying that we're gonna work together. This wasn't this hard right stance. And I hope that put people's mind at ease of let's really
Well, again, let me just point out, a lot of people whose children he scared the stuff out of by making them feel like their parents were in danger of being deported, people of color. A lot of women who just sort of felt like, I get people saying what they have to say. I've seen a lot of elections. Yes, people say what they have to say. I've never seen this. And so, a lot of people are very happy with what he said. And I know there are a lot of angry people, and I get it. But your anger should not be fueled by my nationality or my color. And that's how it felt. So that's why I think for me, I know every president who goes in always says, I'm going to do this and this and this. And then they get there and go, oh my God, this is not what I thought.
Yeah, but let me ask you a
he
question.
has a lot. He has a lot more to clean up other than just.
Well, that's the question. Are we supposed to forget everything he said so far? Do you think?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I can't get over some of the things that he has said. I really
And
can't.
only time is going to show that he's going to either prove to you that he can or he can't. So only
That he
time.
can or he can't what?
Change.
When you're saying you can't
But
get
the
over
words-
it,
the
and we're only
words
gonna
are
have to
there.
Give him
Well,
time.
wait,
You know, the words are in the zeitgeist.
Remember the article in The Atlantic that said the media took him literally, not seriously. His supporters took him seriously, not literally.
Yeah, but But black people took him seriously. Latinos took him seriously.
I agree with you. I did too as well. But what I'm saying is that a lot of Trump supporters defended that by saying he's not what you're seeing, which I know what I saw.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I'm hoping that they're right now and that he's not. And that interview last night made me feel a little better because as he said things like, are you going to appoint a special prosecutor? He was like, I don't want to hurt
on
anyone.
Hillary?
Yeah, he said, I don't want to hurt anyone. I've got other things to do. That's not how he
What
spoke
about the
before.
fact-
That made me feel better.
Yeah.
What about the fact that he's now appointed this guy, Steve Bannon, who's from the alt-right, who's extremely controversial regarding positions on Jews, and the Breitbart website, as you know, is very controversial in regarding Jews, Hispanics, Latinos, and black people, etc. He is now going to be his Trump whisperer.
Well,
He's going to be telling him how to strategize, what to do.
Here's what's interesting. You know,
That's a signal.
if you
in
look
his mind.
back at 50, 60 years to the Second World War, people waited to see how things were going to go. And the problem for a lot of people who are visually easy to spot is that waiting, if it doesn't go in a better direction, could turn out to be an uncomfortable situation. So people are asking us to make adjustments, which we're going to have to because it's going to take a year before we know. But it is really scary, and it's scary for kids because suddenly children of parents who are, you know, same-sex parents, parents who are Latino, who look Latino, don't necessarily have to be Latino. I mean, there's a lot of folks outside of everyone else who's scared. I got you. Yes, we got to go because we're going to come back.
All right.
Back from hell. Just so I don't forget, this was made for me by Tom Brown. It'll be available in the summer. Tom Brown makes amazing. It's fabulous.
There's a dancer
and
in there
it's a
that's gonna
whole
pop out.
thing. You know, it's a whole thing for summertime. You know, if you're laying out, you don't want to be seen in your bathing suit. You climb this, and then you undo the. Oh, baby, it's a whole thing. Now, if America doesn't have enough concerns right now, a lot of people are totally freaked out that the election is going to completely ruin Thanksgiving. Yeah. Are y'all worried about any of this at the table?
Nah.
Are you?
Sarah. I'm a little worried. There are some people that I'm going to be spending Thanksgiving with. We are different viewpoints and beliefs, but I was always taught that you don't talk about politics, religion, what you make, what you weigh at parties where you want to feel good. So I'm hoping that everyone hears that and knows when we come together in gratitude that maybe we can appreciate some of those rules of social settings. Yeah.
So basically you're saying, let's celebrate the kid.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate our
turkey.
lives and turkey and keep everything that isn't our immediate family at bay for today.
Yeah, because why do people find comfort in that? Like, you know, like when you believe it's playing out on social media right now, and it always drives me crazy. I've never looked at that as a soapbox to push anything I believe. And I feel like on Facebook, in social settings, now that the election's decided, people are coming out with like claws pulled to like scratch your face off to prove points. And it's like, that was never comfortable. Why do people come out with email blasts and Facebook posts that are just so divisive?
I hate
Like
social media, don't you? I'm starting to hate it.
It's true. I barely have friends. In my house, my dad is very political, and he likes to talk about politics. And every holiday, my mother lectures him ahead of time. Tony, you're not going to talk about politics. And then I see her sometimes kicking him under the table. The table actually physically moves. But I agree with you. Like, there has to be a day here and there where you put that stuff aside and you just, you know what I do? I go mute. When people start talking about politics, I get completely quiet, and I hope it shuts the conversation
Mama keeps
down.
drinking her wine through the conversation, then she feels empowered, and I go straight after it. It ends poorly.
Maybe what you should do is put a couple of really exotic things on the table. So here's what put some things on your table that have never been on the table before, that are odd and surprising, and the conversation goes in a different direction. So if you have nodders, you know, those things that sit like that.
Oh, the little...
And it's baseball players or whatever. Put some strange and wonderful things on the table.
That's a great idea.
And that will start a different kind of conversation.
There are great games that you can buy at toy stores that have those topic cards that have nothing to do with politics.
It's like if you wanted to have sex with either, you're not there either.
If you want to have sex with your
like
turkey.
gingerbread houses for the kids to decorate.
There you go.
Keep them occupied.
Yeah, but while you're eating, not so much while you're eating. But if stuff is on the table, you know, you like. When did that get there? And people go, oh, you know, I've had that forever. I stole it at your house, remember? And you know what? Speaking of gifts that keep on giving, we're going to go and come back with the fabulous Bernie Sanders. Almost a full week to accept the fact that our president-elect is Donald J. Trump. Let's see how much it sunk in for this gentleman. Please welcome back the fabulous and always fun Senator Bernie Sanders. If you heard the song that DJ Lena was playing for you, it was Disco Inferno. Now, let me ask you, just straight up, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
All right, here's what happened.
Okay.
Do we have racists and sexists in this country? We do. On the other hand, I think what happened is Trump touched a nerve on the part of millions of people that media doesn't often talk about. And that is, you got a middle class for the last 40 years that has been shrinking. You got people who are working 2 or 3 jobs. You got a single mom who can't afford $12,000 a year for childcare. You got a worker who's seen his job go to China. You got a parent who's wondering, how in God's name, but I make $40,000 a year, am I going to be able to send my kid to college? You got a 60-year-old worker today who has $500 in the bank and is facing retirement.
Yeah.
You got millions of people living in extraordinary economic anxiety, and meanwhile, the very richest people and largest corporations are doing phenomenally well. And people are saying all over this country, black and white and Latino, what about me? Who's going to stand up for me? And in my view, the Democratic Party has not been as strong as it should be in saying, yeah, we're going to stand with the working people.
Well, you did.
I did. I did.
You did. Let me ask you something. So if you were the candidate, they say you would have won. I've been reading about that.
The answer is, who knows and who will ever know. But the point is, we got to talk about the future and how we go forward. And there are a couple of things on my mind. Number one, when Mr. Trump says that he's going to be for the working class, you know what? We're going to hold him accountable. We're going to list all the things that he said. You want to raise wages? Hey, count me in. We got a starvation minimum wage now of $7.25 an hour. Let's raise it to $15 an hour. You with me, Mr. You got women who are making 79 cents on the dollar. Anyone think that that is just in the year 2016? Pay equity for women workers. All right, our infrastructure, our roads and our bridges, and this is something Trump has been talking about. Let's work together. Let's create millions of jobs rebuilding our water systems, our wastewater plants, our rail system, all right? Trade, all right? Trump has a fair point, something I've been saying for a long time. Workers all over this country are seeing their jobs going to China and Mexico. Their wages have gone down significantly. Let's create a trade policy that gets corporate America to start investing in this country. All right? Now, what about the cost of prescription drugs? Why do we pay the highest prices in the world for the medicine that we need while the pharmaceutical industry is making huge profits? Now, Mr. Trump talked about it. We're going to hold him accountable. Are you prepared to take on the pharmaceutical industry? Are you prepared to take on Wall Street, whose greed has done so much harm to our country? So here's the point. That's number one. Number two, what we will not accept, this country has struggled too many years in the fight against discrimination and the fight against bigotry and sexism. All right? We are not going to accept a president trying to divide us up. We got little girls who are wearing kerchiefs who are now scared to death that somebody is going to be picking on them.
Terrible.
Or like, our enemies are not some Latino guy, some Mexican American working in a tomato field making $9 an hour. Those are not our enemies. And I don't want millions of people to be worried today about families being separated. I've seen too much of that. So we're going to fight against sexism and racism and xenophobia.
Okay, which brings me to my question, because a lot of people are out there protesting right now.
Yeah.
What is it that we can do to make sure that we keep his feet to the fire?
What we should understand is that the views that many of us have expressed are the views of the vast majority of the American people. Mr. Trump was very proud during his campaign to say, hey, I'm a multi-billionaire, but I don't have to pay any taxes because you're paying taxes.
Right.
Well, you know what? Most Americans don't think that it's right that billionaires and large corporations don't pay a nickel in federal taxes. All right? So we are the majority in our ideas. Now, why the Democratic Party has failed is another story we can deal with. I want basic reforms in the Democratic Party. But most importantly, we've got to hold them accountable. And the third issue I want to touch on, I hope very much, Donald Trump is nobody's fool. And during the campaign, he talks about climate change being a hoax. Yeah. You know what? Climate change is not a hoax. It is a threat to this entire planet. He better start listening to the scientific communities and not just the coal companies.
And if he doesn't,
If he doesn't, you're not going to have much of a planet left for your grandchildren.
I know that. We're worried a lot about that.
And I think, you talk about people in the streets. I think when millions of people, led by the young people, who want to transform this country, say, sorry, Mr. Trump, I want this planet to be healthy and habitable for my children and my grandchildren, and that is more important than the short-term profits of the oil industry. I think we can stop them in that area.
Bernie Sanders sticking around. So we'll be right back. Hey, we're back with Senator Bernie Sanders. Welcome back.
I have a question for you. Senator Sanders.
Happy birthday, young lady.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Trump ran as an outsider candidate, but he just appointed the ultimate insider, the head of the RNC, as his chief of staff, and also announced that he's bringing in Steve Bannon, who's highly controversial for the alt-right movement, as his chief strategist. What should these appointments tell us?
Well, I think you're right. Mr. Priebus is a conservative, well-experienced former chair of the Republican Party. I think the other appointment should get us very nervous.
Yeah.
Our job, look, all of you know that we have struggled with discrimination and racism and sexism and homophobia for hundreds of years, right? It's the history of this country.
Yep.
What we did to the Native Americans is atrocious. Hopefully, we have made some progress in making this country a less discriminatory society. And I will be damned if we're going to go backwards and try dividing this country up again. We're going to bring our people together. We're not going backwards. And we're going to tell Mr. Bannon and any other advisors, this country is not, we're not going to be turning on each other. We're going to be standing together in the wealthiest country in the history of the world to fight for a society and a government that works for all of us.
They have won 3 branches of government, and the Supreme Court will be conservative. What exact power does the left have anymore?
I don't call it the left. I call it the vast majority of the people.
Okay.
Overwhelmingly,
All right.
look, Joy, if you look at issue by issue,
Yeah.
okay, vast majority of the American people want to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Vast majority of the people know there's something wrong when we are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a right. You all know that? We're the only major country on earth. You got 28 million people, no health insurance. Many of you cannot afford health insurance because your deductibles and your co-payments are too high. We're the only country on earth. We pay more per capita.
Yes.
Drug companies are ripping us off. We have more income and wealth inequality. Rich get rich, almost everybody else gets poor. Most people don't think that that's good. And one of the reasons...
And yet,
they voted
for a man
Yeah.
who is part of the problem.
Yes. And then the question then is, where was the Democratic Party? Has the Democratic Party been doing its job in telling working people in Iowa and in New York and in Wyoming, we're going to stand with you. We have the guts to take on Wall Street. We have the guts to take on the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel companies. I don't think most people believe the Democratic Party has done that.
We've been talking a lot about why Hillary Clinton lost, and I think she lost because she didn't have a spokesperson like you for the cause. I said from the beginning, I'm a libertarian, I'm a center-right girl, but you need a spokesperson for the cause, and I said she should have stuck you on the ticket. That would have been the victory. That would have got those voters out. That would have got those millennials out. But I want to ask you a quick question to follow up on that. This weekend, Hillary Clinton she's basically been blaming FBI Director Comey for coming out and making the statements he made that weren't justified and saying that tilted the election. I argue that the fault lied with her and her inability to do outreach to the communities that were listening and waiting for her to do so. Where does the blame fall, in your opinion?
Well, you could look at politics in many, many ways. I think what the FBI did was unacceptable. They got involved in a presidential election in an unprecedented way, and I think that's wrong. I think that hurt Clinton. But I think your point is more to the point. It's not just one instance. Mm-hmm. You know, I like Hillary Clinton, and I knock my brains out to get her elected. But I think it is fair to say that the working class of this country did not believe that she was prepared to stand up and fight for them. Mm-hmm. Even if her policies were...
Even if she had... See, it's about what you say nowadays. It's not about what you do, because beat by beat, there's no question of what she has done, the service she's done for this country. And I get that people are upset and they're, but a lot of disenfranchised people have been in this country for many, many years. And I don't recall any of them saying, oh, you know whose fault it is? It's them. And they're the murderers and the rapists. Oh, no, it's them. They're the folks that should be. This is a new thing. This is brand new.
And we will not accept that for 1 second.
Bernie,
we cannot accept that for 1 second.
Tell us about your new book, Our Revolution.
Well, the book does 2 things. When I began the campaign, we were considered to be a fringe candidate. Nobody knew who I was, and we were taking on the entire political establishment and the media establishment and everybody else. And at the end of the campaign, we ended up winning 22 states, getting 14 million votes, and winning the vast majority of young people. So we came a long way in the campaign, and the book talks about that. But the second thing, the second half of the book says, you know what? As Americans, we're going to have to sit down and do a lot of studying. We're going to have to answer some questions. And these are not 5-second sound bites. Mm-hmm. Why is the middle class declining for 40 years? Is it morally acceptable that the top 1/10 of 1% now owns as much wealth as the bottom 90%? Why are we the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people? Why do we have more people in jail, disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native American, than any other country on earth?
Why?
How do you address climate change?
Yeah. You know how we do that? We get the book. We get the book. Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you. His new book, Revolution, A Future to Believe In, is on sale tomorrow everywhere where books are sold. And, of course, we will be right back. But yeah, yesterday was my birthday. But today I'm showing off the stuff that I love giving as gifts because they're actually outside of the box. So let's get started. This is something I adore. Everybody knows I love to read, and that's why the Little Free Library is one of my favorite things. Now, the Little Free Library at littlefreelibrary.org, 2009, it was started by Ted Bowl, whose mother was a teacher. And each little schoolhouse says, take a book, return a book. It's a nonprofit company that inspires communities to share the joy of reading. And there are 50,000 Little Free Libraries worldwide. And for my birthday, every member of our studio audience brought a book that was meaningful to them. We filled 5 libraries today, and we're going to give them away to 5 communities which applied online to receive them. So congratulations to Jersey City, New Jersey, Navarre, Florida, Los Angeles, California, Whitefield, North Carolina, and Cincinnati, Ohio. And that means kids can bring a book and take a book. So it's a good way to hang out. You know, you bring a book and you read it, and you take another book and you read it and you bring it back. It's a wonderful thing to do.
What's that book?
This is my other favorite thing. You know, I love tattoos, but not everybody loves tattoos. I have several of them. But some people, they're not sure if they want to really have it for the rest of their life. So this is a
commitment.
It is. It's a great product for them. Inkbox tattoos, $19 to $26. Get inkbox.com. These traditional tattoos are the tattoo without commitment. You know,
For those of us who can't commit.
That's right. It uses the pulp of fruit, so it's natural. It goes to the top layer of your skin. It lasts 2 to 3 weeks. So if you're not sure you want a tattoo, this is the perfect way to try them out. And I'm telling you, I love it. Just don't put it someplace you don't think you want to be. Like, if you go to church a lot, don't put it here. Okay?
Or do, because it's gone in 2 weeks.
Right, that's right.
Now, what is this?
Now, I thought you would like this because there's some great products out there for kids, and this is one of them. The Easy Happy Mat, $3.99 to $24.99, easyfun.com. These are all-in-one placemat plate. It suctions directly to the table.
Oh.
So it doesn't over-tip.
It doesn't tip.
You can't drop it. It's microwavable, it's oven safe, it's dishwasher safe. This is a great thing. Your kids will have fun, you will have fun with it, and you don't have to worry about cleaning the floor. There's smiley faces. You can make all kinds of stuff. Not bad words, though. You know how kids are. The other thing that I love is Charlie Rose loves this. This is called Tickle Water. Has no artificial sweeteners. It's ticklewater.com. It's about $1.49. Drink ticklewater.com. It was created by a mom whose 2-year-old loved fizzy water. And so she didn't want to give the child the fizzy water that adults have, so she created this. It's the first unsweetened sparkler for kids. The flavors include watermelon, cola, and green apple. I'm telling you, it's no joke. It's a fabulous thing. The kids will love it. Now this, when it comes to sweets, this is something that it's my addiction. Sugar Fina candy. It's about $2.50 and it goes up. Sugarfina.com. It's inspired candy by candy artisans from all over the world. Literally all over the world. They have candies like red velvet caramels, chocolate bacon toffee. Yeah, or my favorite, and you've seen me eating them on the show.
The frogs.
The green apple frogs. These are like, you don't understand. This is, I have them everywhere in my house.
You eat those in boxes.
They're in my pockets. They're in my friends' pockets. I want to put my hand and get something sweet. It looks like I'm doing something. Bernie ate one. You'll never be the same.
Bernie ate a frog.
Now, who doesn't love a knife? All right?
I feel like we changed tones.
Yes, it is. Werther Cutlery, $29.75, Werthers.com. Werthers are a 110-year-old family-owned business. They're designed for comfort and durability, and I know people who cook, and these are fabulous, fabulous knives. And one of the best things I love about them, I don't know if you can see the beauty of how they look, and that's how you know it's a Werther knife. You'll see this. And it's no joke, y'all. These don't play.
No, it didn't.
And you won't play when you're holding one. Okay. So I'm going to lay this right here.
Alcohol.
Now, this. If you have ever wanted to open a bottle of wine, but you hesitated because you only wanted one glass, then you're going to love this product.
Who drinks one glass?
Nobody. Genesis Champagne and Wine Preserver, $249, $899. GenesisPreserve.com allows you to uncork, preserve, and pour champagne or wine by the glass.
That's awesome.
It's patented technology. It preserves wine for weeks. Weeks.
And this is my favorite.
This is also my favorite. These are my favorite. These are the sweaters I've designed. They're called the Ugly. Okay? They're about $139. They come from Lord & Taylor, and you can get them. And one of my favorites is this one. This is called the Charlie Brown tree, because you see how the tree sees itself. But when you turn it around, it's lighting up. So,
Come on out, guys.
Now, for more information on these products, check out our website. And guess what? I don't want to be the only one getting stuff on my birthday. So this is what I'm going to tell you. There are things you're going to go home with. You're going to go home with books from Little Free Library, okay? You're all going to get the tattoos, okay? You're going to be tattooed. You're all going to go home with the Happy Match. You're going to like that. You're all going to go home with some tickle water because you're liking it. You're all going to go home with some Sugar Fiend candy because you love that. You're all going to go home with an amazing night. You're all going home with this bad boy right here. And we're going to toss some money your way to pick up my sweaters at Lord & Taylor because they're, I think, about $149. We're going to give you some money, and we'll be right back.
This is how we do it. It's Friday night, and I feel alright.
So to wear or not to wear your wedding ring?
My husband is a surgeon, and so he takes his ring off. I just think it sends the wrong message out.
Who is in the operating room paying attention to the fact he's not wearing his ring?
And Jen, I'm looking forward to getting married because when somebody bothers me, I want to be like,
Take mine.
Say I do to the view. Tomorrow on ABC. We are back, Whoopi. But before we go, there is one more piece of business we have to get to.
Right.
DJ Lena, play that music.
You're going to be getting a picture from As Marie because I painted up of here, and this is going to Camp Kindering in your name.
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
Now, we want to thank Sugary's Bakery from Mississippi for making this cupcake tower. They really have the best pies and desserts, honey. Check them out at Sugarees.com, right? Sugarees, all right? Sugarees.com. Thanks, Bernie Sanders and DJ Lena, for coming by.